Hi, today is the 18th, Wednesday, September 18th, and I'm doing a quick recording from home, so the background looks a little different just because I didn't get a chance to do it during the day. So here we go. Today our vocab word is republic. It's a type of government where people have a certain degree of power. They get to vote for who they want to represent them. This was a big concept in the Declaration of Independence, this idea that we have control over our government. We also earlier this week saw that this concept of popular sovereignty, that we're in charge of our government, that the government stems from us, so us having the right to vote, that ties into this. This is one type of government. A lot of people will not realize that we have a republic. They'll think of us more of as democracy, which we'll find out in the coming what that is. Similarities, differences, but we can really call ourselves a democratic republic or a republic democracy. One of the two. This one just deals with voting. So think of for a synonym what that means, having that power to vote and what that gives us in our government. And then the picture may come to you fairly easily, maybe. All right. The target for today, we are going to get a little deeper into what are the three branches. I really want us to have a solid base in this. This is probably one of the biggest things to get out of this chapter is these three branches and some details about what they do. So today we're going to describe the three by listing some details. One for each, two details for each of them. So hopefully in two different ways we do this today, you should be able to get some details. So, just FYI, the first thing we did is I had everybody show me their completed homework. And we had done this mark it up portion together. Well, you guys had done that when I was gone on Monday. And then yesterday we went over it and discussed more. And then I had given you some homework to look up in our textbook, the goals of the preamble. And now I wanted you to use that textbook information to write down, what does established justice mean? How do we see that in our country? What does it mean to ensure domestic tranquility? What is that in a more easy to understand, more specific goal? So you showed me that you had that done. That's called a completion check. You got points for having it done. If you didn't have it done, you need to still finish it and show it to me. You get some points for that. If you were absent today and you're watching this, you're like, crud, I was absent. How do I get these points? Just stop and talk to me and let me know, hey, I was absent. And I did probably mark that down as well that you were absent. Just show it to me. I'm not necessarily going to hunt you down. So do show this to me completed. All right. And there should be a video I'm posting later today or tomorrow about how to log into our textbook. So if you're a little fuzzy on that, there is some information in my main page of Schoology, but there should be a video coming up probably tomorrow, I guess, since it's already almost 9 o'clock tonight. So that's the first thing we did. Then we, talked a little bit more about remembering how to remember to get homework done because it's a tricky thing switching over to seventh grade, having more classes. So if that's a struggle for you, let me or your parents know and we can help you brainstorm. But really, you got to think about what works for you. Some people said they put the folder in their backpack right away. So a lot of people keep an agenda book. So that's not, that's they have a calendar that their parents have got them or just a notebook to write down and they can cross it out. So the putting the folder in the backpack or in a special place in your locker, or using a grade tracker on the Chromebook or having an agenda book were probably the top three that people used, but there were other things mentioned, and if you're struggling, just let us know and we'll help you. You or your parents or your home-based teacher. It is a tricky thing. We kind of just hope you all figure out what works best for you, but that's not always the case. So talk to us if you're struggling. The next thing we did after that quick conversation was I showed everybody 2 times through this video on, it's called Schoolhouse Rocks 3-Ring Government. And I have a link for you in Schoology as well, but you can also just do a YouTube search for it. This video runs us through what, like the 3 branches of government and who's in each branch. And so as I kind of go through here, as I slide through, you'll see that we recognize that there are three branches. You have an executive, has the president in it. Now, he doesn't do everything alone. He's got lots of people to help him, but he's kind of the top dog of this one. You've got the legislative branch, and this is Congress or the House of Representatives and Senate. That's the two parts. It's got a lot of people in it, you notice. It's actually 535 total people. So there's a lot of people in the legislative branch. And then here's the Supreme Court. They are in the judicial branch. And there are 9 justices currently. And so they have their own branch. So then, as you're watching, be listening for what are the powers, like what do these people do, and how are they represented in our video, because that may help you to understand this idea of a government and their role compared to a circus. So, like for example, the president's like the ringmaster. He organizes things, helps everything's run and flow smoothly. That's his job. Then if we scroll ahead, we've got Congress, and again made of the House and Senate, and they are acrobats. Also, are they got out of a clown car as you watch it. It just signifies there's a lot of people in this branch, and there was meant to be a lot of people. And they juggle. These are bills up here. They're juggling a lot of different tasks and things. They have a lot of jobs that they're assigned because there are a lot of people. Then we have our judicial branch, and they weigh your rights. That's what you kind of can see here, versus the right, versus evils, the wrongdoings. So wrongdoings versus your rights. And then the last part of it, they're talking about in this last part as you watch it, which branch is the most powerful. And we had a big discussion about this in class, and people talked about it. And, people had some examples of why they thought each branch was the most powerful. But in the end, the video is going to tell us, and we all kind of came to this conclusion as well, is they're all really equally powerful. They're actually meant to be equally powerful. They're actually meant to keep each other in check and not let any one branch get too powerful. And so that's what this last part of the video is talking about. So we made some circle maps in our notes to write down and jot down some of the things we learned. And then finally, we had everybody start, and every hour got to a little different stage of doneness. Snap days, loss of 10 minutes really does that to a person. But you can see I opened up in the U.S. Constitution folder this 3 branches intro worksheet, and you can create your own. You can grab one from me in the morning, but it looked like this. And what I had people do is some hours, I think it was pretty much hours 1, 3, 5, and 6. You were assigned one of the 3, and then 2 other people in your group got the other ones. And you had to look up for tomorrow, how many House members and senators. You might have to look up the length of the term and if they're elected or appointed. Appointed means to be chosen for that position. What's the age requirement? What's the citizenship? What powers do they have? So if you're doing this on a sheet of paper, which is perfectly fine, just pick one of the 3 for right now. You'll notice that sections 3, 4, and 5, section 3, section 4, section 5 of your textbook is going to help with this. So if you need that, please use that. You can also Google it as well. And that's really where we ended up. Tomorrow, we're going to take a closer look then at these and do some evaluating of that, thinking about what is describing each branch. So I go back to here, and so there was the preamble goals, the 3-ring circus. Watched that a couple of times and did some talking around that. And then we started that 3 branches introduction. Tomorrow, then we'll get to the which branch. So think about some details. What would describe each branch? Who's in it? What powers do they have? How many? Trying to think of other things, but I'm going to run out of time here. So I'm going to stop. If you have any questions, as always, please come talk to me or send me an email. Otherwise, we hope to see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.